Evening. Welcome to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting. This is August 13th, 2024. It is 7 p.m. and we're going to get started as we typically do. That's with a prayer and a pledge. And tonight we have the honor of Jeremy Deloach joining us. He's the associate pastor at Centerpoint Church. Jeremy, appreciate you very much. Appreciate what your church does for our community. And we're going to ask you to pray for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just come to you with thankful hearts this evening. And God, we give thanks and praise for the many blessings of life that you've given us. God, as I like to say every day, the best is yet to come, and I do believe that is the case here in Hendersonville, that the best is yet to come. God, tonight we ask you and we thank you for the officers that you have elected here, the many businesses that you have given us in this community, God, the churches, the families, and the individuals that make up this great community. And God, may we do our part to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. God, tonight we also remember our great friend, Sheriff Weatherford. God, we ask you to continue to be with this family. And God, I ask you also to be with the men and women day in and day out that put on that uniform to protect us in this community. God, tonight I ask you to be with the men and women on this council. God, that you give them wisdom. God, that you give them guidance and direction and the topics that are discussed this evening, God, and may they bring you glory. God, again, we thank you for this great community. We thank you for the men and women that serve this country so faithfully. And that, God, we give you all the praise, all the glory goes to you. And it's in your Son's name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. And again, that's Associate Pastor Jeremy Deloach at Centerpoint Church. Jeremy, thank you so much. Appreciate that. We have a wonderful group of young men in front of us. These are members of the Boy Scout Troop 133. We're going to ask them to come forward a little bit and turn around, and they're going to lead us in the pledge. Whenever you guys are ready.
Will everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Everyone is here, and I'm going to entertain a motion that we accept the agenda. We have a motion from Alderman Waters and a second from Alderman Martin. I want you all to acknowledge, please, item number 4 under ordinance and resolutions. We are waiving the 2-week rule there. Any discussion or proposals to change the agenda? We have a proper motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the agenda that was provided to you, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you for that. Next, we have some presentations and some wonderful information from some folks involved with the library. Kathy Pascal with beautiful Hendersonville. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's good to have you again.
Yes,
and I'm going to turn things over to you.
Good to be here. Thank you so much. Good to be here, Mayor and Alderman. You know, Mayor, we heard just last week or so the governor speaking about the impact on our economics in Middle Tennessee, but specifically Sumner County. And he credited that positive report to our leadership, thank you, and to the businesses and the business owners that care not only about their businesses, but about the people. And they do so by creating an environment that is both inviting and welcoming. And that stuck with me, and I thought, that is so great. I love to be here and be a part of that and being able to recognize the people that do that. So tonight, we're going to do things just a little bit differently. We're going to, instead of doing our business award first, we will do the residential.
Oh,
and
Kathy, can I interrupt real quick?
Well, yep.
Sorry about that. Jason, can you help us out? So some of you may have seen this.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the gazebo that beautiful Hendersonville spruced up over the course of several weeks. It looks phenomenal. It's right off of Gallatin Road, close to Sanders Ferry. And Kathy led that, and I think you've got a couple of volunteers that worked with that, and we appreciate that very, very
well,
much.
Thank you. Yeah. It does look nice.
Go ahead. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Okay, so can you get me back where I need to be? Okay. Let's see, back to Ward 1. We have several of our residential folks that couldn't join us tonight, but we've got in Ward 1, 402 Sanders Ferry Road, and that was Mr. Aaron Martin, but again, he was not able to join us tonight. And he's taken this little house and really done a great job of cleaning up all of it. So he was nominated for that. And then Ward 2 at 138 Twin Bay, Bobby and Janet Newberry. And again, their landscaping was the reason they were nominated. And it's kind of hard to see up close to the house, but it was a beautiful job too. And then in Ward 3, we have Amzie and Zach Spain, and they are at 211 Evergreen Circle. And I know that Miss Amzie couldn't be here, but Mr. Spain, you're here. And they did a beautiful job here. They're relatively new homeowners here, right? But the job had been done, a lot of it had been done for them. There's a beautiful big driveway, concrete driveway there that just kind of illuminated the whole property, and it's beautiful. It really is. So thank you so much for what you do to make the neighborhood beautiful, and you're welcome to go stand right up there. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You get a picture now.
And then, yeah. So in Ward 4 at 130 Island Drive, that's Mr. Clark Higgs, and again, his landscaping was nominated, and it's a beautiful job, but he couldn't join us tonight either. And then in Ward 5, I don't see them, but I didn't get word for sure if they were going to be here or not. But look what they did. They took the before, that little house that's over in Bluegrass subdivision, and transformed it. So it is absolutely beautiful, and we had the pleasure of watching that in progress, and it's stunning. It's just stunning. So I love what they have done there. And then in Ward 6, we have Mr. Bryson and Mimi McCarley. Would you come up, please? And they are at 107 Crestview Drive, and they have done a wonderful job with this property. Thank you so much. Thank you. But they have done a deck. We don't see all of that on there, but the painting and the woodwork. What is that woodwork that you added?
It's a burnt firewood. So we actually customized that ourselves.
And applied that
Yeah.
to the front. It's just gorgeous, and again, your neighbors nominated you. You do so much in the neighborhood, in the community anyway. We appreciate you so much, and we love what you've done in your neighborhood
Cool.
there. So if you'll just stand there. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to scoot back to our,
Are we doing pictures now? Or-
well, you want to wait to do it with all of them?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. I'll be quiet now.
Can we do that? No?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, we are really excited to be able to recognize this business. As I mentioned, just being able to do things that create an environment that is welcoming and inviting. Our winner this month has really done that. In the Hendersonville Public Library has spent the last 9 months, if not more, just really doing a total revamping of their outdoor landscaping. And these are just a couple of the pictures there, but they have done so much, so many different areas, and I hope you guys can get by to see that. But I would, on behalf of the library tonight, we have Miss Elisa Neighbors, who is the director of the library, accepting this. And thank you so much for allowing this to be done. And you know what she said, and it's so cool, she said that the library was really just the canvas, that the artists were the gardeners, and this is the Sumner County Master Gardeners that have worked diligently and really hard work, 140 bags of mulch in one area. So they have created a beautiful monarch garden in the front, and they have also done beautiful potted plants, and in the back they have the courtyard that has a horse topiary, right? A rose garden, and an ongoing project with the children's area. So we just appreciate you so much what you have done, and I'd like to read what she has written here, if you don't mind. I thought this was very nice. She didn't want to do it. So she said, As librarians, we often remind people not to judge a book by its cover. An unattractive cover can mislead even the most curious reader. This principle guided my efforts to transform our library into not just a place for education and resources, but a vibrant social hub for Hendersonville. Upon reviewing our library, I realized that our cover didn't reflect the value within. And through collaborative efforts and a partnership with the Master Gardeners of Sumner County, we revamped our space. Their artistic and landscaping and educational displays, including our registered Monarch Way Station, have given our library the inviting, engaging exterior that it needed. We've worked hard to ensure our library is a place that reflects our commitment to detail, environmental education, and community connection. And she says that we are very honored to receive this recognition of our efforts to create a space where everyone can learn, create, and connect. Thank you. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And I would like now to recognize the artists, the Sumner County Master Gardeners. If you would please stand. Okay? Yes, thank you. And you know, the Master Gardeners program is open to all. This is an organization that is community and service oriented. And again, if you're interested in it, you can go to the UT Extension office in Gallatin to find out more about the Master Gardeners program.
Artist as well.
Is she?
Very talented sketch artist.
Well, she is so modest. She didn't tell me that. She didn't tell me that. But they've done a beautiful job with our library, and I think we will all be very proud of it. So if you guys now, can we take pictures?
I'm going to look at Casey.
Okay, Casey?
Okay.
You want to do two separate pictures? Maybe you guys all slide this way towards the center, and I'll get a picture of you, and then I think Mr.
And then the
Okay.
gardeners. Okay, so
Okay.
no, you can go with them. There we go. All right.
Perfect.
Great group.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much there. Yeah.
No, I'm
Hey,
glad you did.
and please-
That's what I wanted. I don't fit in the beautiful house category. So you
And
guys
guys, don't forget to send in
Jeff's
your
situation.
nominations for next month too, okay? All right. Yes, you do. It's a requirement. Okay, so if you guys would come on up and just stand, and we'll get a quick photo of all of you with the mayor there and all of the
This means
aldermen.
I'm standing up. Okay.
We can all sort of center underneath Jamie and the city side, some on this side. We can get some more to come on this end.
Did our people leave?
Holy cow.
A lot of green thumbs out there. I need to go by and look at it.
It is such a unique thing. Some
Do you know them?
it lasts
Yeah, labor intensive. Well, you would know that. Have you ever done any of it?
I mean, it's not, but I didn't know if we could ever see it this year because it's really costly. And it's kind of different than what you see.
Yeah, I'll have to go by and look at it.
I love it.
What a group. Thank you so much. Thank you. And also, Mr. Greg Yandell, that was here tonight with Ace Hardware, does have gift cards for the residential winners, and so he's tracking them down.
Yeah,
But we
Greg-
appreciate him being here.
Yeah, Greg sort of snuck out there, so
Yeah.
we certainly appreciate Ace Hardware doing that. for
Yeah,
all the
absolutely.
winners.
Hey, Kathy, should we go now?
Railroad tracks. State Farm.
So we have no public hearings, but we do have minutes from July 9th, 2024 that were provided in your packet. We have a motion to approve. Who was that from? Alderman Collins? And a second from Alderman Goodwin. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes that were provided to you from July 9th, 2024, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Citizen comments, we have nobody that has signed up. And now we have a consent agenda, and then we move on to ordinance and resolutions. We have first reading of ordinance 2024-09, an ordinance amending Hendersonville Municipal Code Title II, Chapter 4, Section 2-401, extending the terms of golf course commission members. I have a motion from Alderman Goodwin, a second from Alderman Sassy. Is that right? Okay. Any discussion on this? Alderman Bergdorf.
Yes, sir. May I get a clarification for this ordinance?
We'll try.
Thank you.
So specific question or just?
Specifically, why the extension?
So what we had was we have 5 golf course commissioners that essentially are the board of directors for our golf course business.
Yes.
And they all serve 3-year terms that end at the same time. We thought that was a problem, and so we felt like we needed to stagger those as well. And the way to stagger that was to extend some of them, actually extend 4 of them, so we could get in a staggered situation. We didn't want to remove anybody.
Right.
I feel like the 5 are doing a wonderful job right now.
Right. Thank you very much for
You're welcome.
clarification. Appreciate it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of first reading of ordinance 2024-09, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we're on the first reading of ordinance 2024-12, an ordinance amending Hendersonville Municipal Code Title II, Chapter 2, Board of Parks and Recreation, Title 4, Chapter 2, Golf Course Commission, Title 8, Chapter 2, Beer Board, and 2024 zoning ordinance to establish compensation for members of certain boards. Do we have a motion? We have a motion from Alderman Sassy, a second from Alderman Garza. What this is that we're sort of in chicken and egg situation, that we didn't have permission to pay these boards, but we didn't have money to pay these boards. So in the budget, we passed the appropriation to pay these boards. Now we just have to make sure that it's okay in our code. And so they will be paid retroactively, but we couldn't do one without the other. So that's why we did the budget first in the budget cycle, and then we did this. So Alderman Waters. And it will cost us no additional money. It's all appropriate already. Alderman Waters.
Mr. Chairman, $100 a month, as a liaison for these committees, can we get $1 a month?
Okay, thank you. Alderman Bergdorf.
Thank you. What was the compensation set at per committee member? Is it already set? Do you have something in mind?
For these 4, I think it's $100. The budget was $100 per month for these 4.
Okay. Just, again, I don't think it's necessary. I like our boards. I'm not a fan of paying our volunteers because they're not volunteers anymore. This is the volunteer state. I think we have some great volunteers in the community in which we live. We have, as a matter of fact, we have some volunteer gentlemen here right now, some volunteer scout leaders who, gentlemen, do you get paid? It's a rhetorical question. No, you don't. I understand. But you put a lot of hours, a lot of time, and a lot of effort, and a lot of love into your work. And I think that it should be reflected in our city as well. I'm not going to be able to support the paying of volunteers because once they become paid, albeit you may be leveraged. And once you exchange cash for something, for a duty, for a service, it is no longer a volunteer by nature. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Alderman Bergdorf, thank you. Alderman Collins.
Mayor Clary, we discussed before, you and I discussed before this budget that we voted on last month, that I was willing to support paying the boards with the contingency that a year from now we evaluate to see whether or not their attendance has in fact improved, because I think part of the motivation is we had some attendance issues, and to kind of motivate and have some accountability. If you're getting paid, although a small amount, and you don't show up to your one meeting that month, then there's some accountability in that. So I just wanted to say out loud that in front of everybody that my expectation is a year from now we would have some data to evaluate whether or not this had actually improved attendance for those who will no longer be considered, I guess, volunteers that serve on these committees. Thank you.
Okay, very much so. Thank you. Alderman Robertson.
So this is not a novel idea. It's not a matter of first impression. In fact, this city has paid its planning commissioners $200 a month for how many years? I mean, it's, as long as I can recall, it's paid. So this is not something new. This is something that this city has done, and I think it's appropriate. I'm the liaison for the Golf Course Commission, and they put together a budget of about $1 million a year. And they spend a lot of time, a lot of effort in trying to make the budget, balance. And so I'm going to support the motion.
Alderman Robertson, thank you. Any other discussion? Alderman Bergdorf.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just to answer Alderman Robertson's statement, noting that we have done this in the past and it's not new, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to continue it or do it again. I would just like to bring that forth. And I appreciate everyone who volunteers. It is time, it is effort, it is time away from family. It is a task, to be quite honest with you. But I really think that we need to hold the line at this point and not pay the volunteers. Thank you.
Alderman Bergdorf, thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor of first reading ordinance 2024-12, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. No. Oh, hold on. Jason, you ready for us? Okay, so we'll go electronic. Okay, so we can go ahead and vote. All those in favor press the green button. Those opposed, the red one. So that passes 9-4. Hold on, Jason. Those voting in favor, Alderman Skidmore, Peterson, Martin, Garza, Goodwin, Garden, Collins, Robertson, and myself. Those voting against, Alderman Bergdorf and Sassy, Alderman Dixon, Alderman Waters. Thank you all. You good? Okay. Now we're on to first reading of ordinance 2024-13. This is an ordinance fixing the rate of real and personal property taxation in the city of Hendersonville. I need a motion. We have a motion from Alderman Bergdorf and a second from Alderman Sassy. Any discussion? Alderman Robertson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm real proud that we're able to set this rate with no tax increase. Many times, cities and counties use this time to increase the property tax rate. But we are holding steady. This is a revenue neutral rate. And I want to personally thank the mayor and Jesse and the staff, and also the finance committee and its chairman, Karen Dixon, for being wise stewards. And so as a result of us controlling spending, there's no need for us to increase the tax rate. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Alderman Robertson. Alderman Peterson.
Thank you, Mayor. On 23 of our packet, under discussion, it says for the past 5 years, the tax rate for the city has been set at 0.9187%, and now the new certified tax rate is 0.5883. So I see you have two examples here underneath. Wouldn't it be more? It seems like we're almost cutting the tax rate in half. But is this reflective because of the recent property assessment from the county?
That is exactly what it is, and if you're going to ask more specific questions, I'm going to ask Tamara to come up and answer them. Tamara. Yeah, I can answer that yes, but she can give you more.
Okay, thank you, because I don't have a degree in economics. It's only animal science, which I loved. But I'm just looking at, looks like the new tax rate is almost half of what we had in the past 5 years. Wouldn't there be more of a savings for the property owners?
No, because it is calculated based on the new appraised value. If you look at page 22 in your packet, the far right column it's line number 6, the far right column. The prior appraised value was 2.3 billion. The new appraised value, which is one column to the left, is almost 3.7 billion. So the appraised value went up substantially from 5 years ago to now. So to keep that revenue the same, that rate did come down. It's about, almost about 40%.
Okay. And one last question. Do we keep the tax rate for 5 years at a time, or does it fluctuate annually?
It can fluctuate annually. It depends on what the recommendation is in the budget process.
Okay, but it's based on the county?
So the appraisals are based on the county, but the actual tax rate, we set that every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's stayed the same for, is it about 5 years?
It's been the same for the last 5 years, and then prior to that, it was the same for 5 years prior. I mean, different rate, but it stayed stagnant for 5 years and then was reassessed 5 years ago. New rate was set. So depending on what's recommended in the budget, that can be set at a different rate during the budget process or remain flat at the direction of the mayor, how he wants to present that.
So you're saying there's a chance it will stay like this for 5 years?
That's up to us.
There is a chance.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tamara. I appreciate that. Mayor, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson, for that reference. Alderman Bergdorf.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to echo Alderman Robertson's congratulations and thank yous for good work done, very well done. Mayor,
Thank you.
Tamara, and the finance team, very good work. Thank you very much for doing this. And yes, it's my understanding that there is an assessment. How often is the tax assessment, county tax assessment? Every 5 years. So that's why the rates are set, usually for 5 years, correct? But the board can change it if they need to. But I just want to say thank you again. And Mayor, if I may, I would like to be a co-sponsor of this.
Without objection, we're going to add your name as a sponsor.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Alderman Bergdorf?
No, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Alderman Sassy.
Wow. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but yeah, Mayor, Jesse, Tamara, thank you for all the work you guys have done with a fantastic budget and being able to balance it to a point where we're able to actually, during this reassessment season, to lower our tax rate. And just wanted to explain to the citizens what this lowering actually means is that it is revenue neutral, like Alderman Robertson said. So the amount you pay dollar-wise does not change by a whole lot. And Tamara, do you have an estimation on a range that they could their property tax amount could change, or?
Oh, sorry, Tamara. Go ahead.
Everyone should have relatively small changes. The examples that were in your packet on page 23, I pulled just 2 random properties, and they had, one was a $9 change, one was a $6 change. I have talked to a couple of other people. One person had an $80 change to their bill. It was increased by $80. Another person increased by $45. But it really depends on what your property was valued 5 years ago compared to what the new appraised value was this year. So if your property had some upgrades and, maybe it increased percentage-wise more than your neighbor or as the others in the city, it would go up a little bit. Others may come down a little bit depending. But, nobody should see anything significant unless, they, took a very small house and then tripled it in size. Obviously, that would, trigger a bigger increase. So I don't have an exact dollar value on there, but I don't, most should be relatively minimal.
Yeah, the point is it's relatively the same. I've had 3 calls actually where they were surprised their property tax dollar amount was actually going down. And it, like you said, it's not a significant amount, but they see this new assessment that is 60-70% higher than what it was, and we had some people freaking out. And so to understand that, at least at the city level, I don't know what the county is doing, but the city level, that lowering this tax rate is able to keep that dollar amount alone, we should all, that's pretty exciting. And I hope that all citizens recognize that and are thankful for the work that's been done with this. So thank you all.
Thank you, Alderman Sassy. Alderman Dixon.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo the last three comments, the last three speakers, but I also wanted to let the board know that this came to Special Finance Committee 2 weeks ago, and it was passed unanimously. Thank you, Alderman Bergdorf and Alderman Sassy.
Thank you, Alderman Dixon. Alderman Sassy.
And I also would like to be put on as a sponsor, if you don't mind.
Without objection, we'll add that. Without objection, we'll add Alderman Dixon as well. So nobody else in the queue here? All those in favor of first reading of ordinance 2024-13? Did I hear something? Okay. Please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously, so we end up with more sponsors. Okay, perfect, okay. Now we're on to resolution 2024-28. This is a resolution authorizing the city to apply for the Public Entity Partners Safety Partners Grant. This is something that was just heard tonight, is that correct? Yes. In general committee, okay. I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion from Alderman Garza, a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Alderman Peterson.
Thank you, Mayor. We did discuss this, and it passed unanimously in general committee tonight. It's also a grant, the maximum, it's a 50-50 match of $4,000, which goes to help purchase protective gear for the staff. And, anytime we can get a grant to do that, to keep employees safe, I fully support this, and I would also like to co-sponsor.
Without objection, we're going to add Alderman Peterson as a co-sponsor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson. Alderman Sassy.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a really quick question. What was the reason we needed to rush this and waive the 2-week rule on this one? Was there a deadline we're up against?
Jesse, you want to do it?
There he is.
We'll have Jason.
There is a deadline on this one. It's August 16th, so we have 3 more days to apply for it. And with the fact that the 2nd July meeting got canceled, that changed the timeline of when we needed to put this in front of BOMA.
Absolutely. This is one of those cases where it made sense to waive that rule. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Alderman Sassy. Any other discussion? All those in favor of resolution 2024-28, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. You're good? Okay, perfect, okay. Next, on to other agenda items. We have the appointment of Management Review Committee member. This is something that's unfamiliar to most of us. I think the Management Review Committee since 1986 has probably met 2 or 3 times. For most of our employees, they can appeal a decision by their supervisor and by me to our personnel board. And Jason, please make a face if I say something incorrect here, okay? For our department heads, they don't have the same code doesn't always apply to them for their rules. For department heads, if they want to file an appeal for a decision that I've made dealing with a grievance that they filed, they go to the Management Review Committee. As I said, that's only happened maybe 2 or 3 times since 1986. When the city changed the charter to Board of Mayor and Aldermen in 1986, this came pretty soon after that. Sort of as a protection, sort of as a guarantee, as an understanding for what the city would provide for those department heads. And so that review committee is set up by that ordinance 1986-6, I think it is, that it's made of 5 people. 4 of them are the chairman of Public Safety, Public Works, General, and Finance. Those are 4 of them. The 5th one is appointed by us, can't be one of those 4. The 5th one is appointed by us, and that person serves as the chairman. I think we last did this probably about 6 years ago. Honestly, we should have done this a year and a half ago. We should have done this when we had a new board. It was just something that I forgot because we don't do it that often. We don't need it. We went probably 20 years where that committee didn't meet, but when we have a new board every 2 years, this is one of those things that we should have done, and I failed to bring it up back then. So we need to appoint somebody who is not one of those 4 people who are chairman, that will be chairman of the Management Review Committee. And so that's what we need to do at this time. Alderman Peterson.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to nominate Alderman Robertson.
Okay, so we have a motion for Alderman Robertson and a second. Any other nominations? Oh, a motion to cease nominations. Is there a second on that? Second. Okay, second from Alderman Dixon. All in favor of nomination ceasing, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed to that? No. Okay, Jason, you ready for us? So who is up? So this is that the nominations cease. Those in favor of the nomination ceasing, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red one. Okay, we're missing Alderman Bergdorf. Sure, so if the nominations cease, we will just have Alderman Robertson as a nominee.
Does Alderman Robertson accept the nomination?
Alderman Robertson, are you okay with this nomination?
Don't know what I'm being thrown into. I trust you that nothing's been done the last 5 or 6 years, so maybe this is a moot point.
So,
But I'm going to need a lot of help from our general counsel if we do have to meet.
that sounds like a wavy yes. So, okay. Okay. Let's see, all those in favor of, go ahead, Alderman Scooter. Yeah, so here, Jason, can you hold on 1 second?
Can we get out? Okay, thank you.
So go ahead.
Actually, believe it or not, I was around when this ordinance was passed. And I had brown hair, and I didn't wear glasses, these kind of glasses, and I was a little thinner in my waist area, but my mother was one of the original members of that, and I think in '87 I jumped on board after that. She and I actually both did. But you are correct. Since '86, I do know that it's only been used twice that I can remember, and I've been a committee member since '87. And I think there was I don't know, I have to ask Lance Ray about this. I think I was out of there for 4 years, I think, Lance. And, or close, 3 years, 3 or 4 years.
No, it was 4.
Oh, was it 4? I can't remember. Those days I choose to forget, you know. I don't live in yesterday. So anyway, and I hope you're happy with that too, because I am. But anyway, you are back to seriousness here. It's only been used twice. So, and I think one time we met twice on the same issue, which I'm not going to go into any of the issues about what it was, because it's not irrelevant. It's irrelevant really to the city now. But it is, I think, that it is good that our department heads, if they feel that there's a problem, that they can go directly to the Board of Aldermen instead of just not having an outlet. I still think that's a good thing, because our employees obviously do with the personnel board, and with the department head, they don't have a choice. But now with this committee, they do, and the times that we've met, everybody was open-minded about it, because we didn't really know, as a board of aldermen, the committee members, we really didn't know what was going on, and it's time to hash it out and see if there's something that maybe the meeting of the minds can get together and try to hash it out. And sometimes they can't. It's just the way that's the way politics is, or the way management works. It's just this. But I think it's I think that it's a good thing, and you'll be able to. I hope we never have to have this committee meet. It's not a good thing about meeting, to meet with the management review. But you all will be well enough, knowledgeable enough, especially the committee that's on there now, because we've got a great board of mayor and aldermen right now, a super one, best we've had in a long time, that, you know, they'll come to the, you know, whatever decision that they make will be a proper one. And whether it's agreeable or not, I mean, but I guess my point I'm trying to make to Alderman Roberson is the fact that, you know, you probably won't need much help because you'll know. I mean, you're a very knowledgeable person, and that's why you're our vice chairman of Public Works, because you're a pretty smart dude, and you'll be able to catch on very quick, and all the other chairmen will be able to do the same when it comes to the problems. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Skidmore. So, Jason, can you take off the vote? Evidently, we weren't ready. We still had some people wanting to speak, so let's take that down. Thank you for that. And Alderman Sassy, did you want to speak on the motion to cease nominations? Okay, go ahead.
Well, and I just had because I'm not familiar with this position entirely, as Alderman Robertson as well, but we have an election coming up in just 2 months. Would it make sense to wait until after the election to do this?
There's a possibility we will have to convene this committee in the next month.
Okay, understood.
Appreciate it.
Then I'm ready to vote now.
Okay. Okay. Alderman Collins, did you have something?
You said there's a possibility. Can you elaborate on that?
So a grievance was submitted to me, and the response was to deny it. And my response was to deny it. So that department head has the appeal opportunity to the Management Review Committee.
Okay, and the timing, a month, in the next month? What is that?
If that
Is there a
person,
time,
if
like a
that person,
deadline?
so help me out, Lance. If that person files a request for the Management Review Committee, we have a schedule at that point.
So the ordinance that provides for all this is 1988-6. I have some copies if anybody wants to see it. But there's timelines of the procedure of a grievance going through the process of different stages. And so there's timelines that we have to adhere to. They can also be mutually agreed upon to extend, but even with that, it would put us pretty soon. And since the city should have already had it, the ordinance that says that to appoint a chairman by BOMA every city election, so every 2 years, should be done after each election, or as soon as practical thereafter. So it was brought to our attention that we don't have a chairman, so this is as soon as practicable thereafter.
Thank you, Lance. Alderman Collins, anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Robertson, did you want to speak, or did I just leave that on from earlier?
No.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion to cease nominations, and nobody else wanting to speak right now. Okay, so on the motion to cease nominations, Jason, can you bring that up, please? Press the green button if you'd like to cease nominations, the red one if not. Okay, so that passes 12-1. The one abstention was Alderman Robertson. So, okay, so thank you for that, Jason. So now we are voting on Alderman Robertson as the only nominee to be the chairman of the Management Review Committee. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously, and I'm assuming Alderman Robertson voted for himself. Now we're on to, thank you all for that, to brief committee reports. Our general committee, Chairman Peterson. There you go, now you're good.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, General Committee met tonight. And I just want to congratulate the Boy Scouts for not leaving.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging around.
Could I interject
I
something?
hope y'all are working on a merit badge or something, because usually, soon as there are the announcements, everybody books. But thank y'all for sticking it out and watching your representatives of your city doing the work for you. We want y'all to go graduate high school and college and come back to Hendersonville. It's a great town. We're trying to make a lot of opportunities for our young people. And we just appreciate y'all coming tonight and leading us in the pledge. And I thank all of you for being Boy Scouts and making this community better. Thank you. And Mayor, General Committee met tonight, and we had 2 items on the agenda, and we did have to suspend the 2-week rule. And if anyone has questions, I think Jason could probably give this report better than I could. So if I may have him speak on my behalf.
Not a problem.
Go ahead, Jason.
All right, thank you. So we had 2 on the agenda. The first one was the one that you voted on, so for the public safety grant. Thank you. That was passed through general unanimously, and I appreciate the vote here. We'll be applying for that in the next couple days. The other one is Resolution 2430. It's a resolution amending the job classification list and pay table. So while we list some items on that staff report that indicate some budgetary costs, this is just simply adding it to the classification list. This is not making any changes to the budget. This is just looking at a structure change within the executive department and administrative services. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Chairman Peterson.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is Public Safety Report from Chairman Goodwin.
We did not have a meeting tonight.
Okay, thank you. And then Planning Commission from Alderman Martin.
Thank you, Mayor. So we had one project that we really had a discussion on. This was the Falcon Ridge Final Development Plan, kind of a controversial project within the community. It's a 103-unit development that is going to be located at 800 New Shackle Island Road, which is at the edge of the northern city limits. The owner is American Homes for Rent, and the reason it's controversial is because they don't build and sell homes. They build homes and purchase homes and then lease them out. So as far as the community is concerned, they take homes away from the American dream of home ownership. So it is actually an old project. It went through Planning Commission back in 2006 and 2007, and again in May 2014, where they received different revisions. The 2014 development plan has floodplain issues with homes located in it. A lot of elevation changes, so there's expensive grading and blasting that's involved. So it's a pretty expensive layout. American Homes for Rent wanted to push all these homes together at a smaller portion of the site, which was more level. That created a lot more high density, and that was a departure from the Westlake plan and a lot of the work that the Planning Commission did to kind of tackle the high density issues for our city. We ended up voting. It was turned down by the Planning Commission unanimously, citing high density and some other concerns with the project. It was later withdrawn by American Homes for Rent. I do want to make clear that the project's not dead. It just means that they can build the 2014 more expensive, less desirable version of it, or come back with a different final development plan. All right, staff level projects. Hendersonville High School's dugout improvements. We've got some pending projects that the staff will be looking at, including Broken Paddle Outfitters Outbuilding and Music City Studios, Molly Walton campus revision. Planning Director comments. Keith Free and the staff have opened a planner position, and that's been filled with Caitlin Shin, so she got a great promotion, and we're excited for her. But now we're looking for a person for her replacement. So that's all I've got.
Alderman Martin, thank you. Next, we have our Bowman report from our COO.
Thank you, Mayor. We're going to touch on a couple slides that are in the report. This is how we finished out the year for sales tax. So July through June, we're 5% higher than last year. So that top line is the most current year, and then that blue line at the bottom is 2 years ago. So good news to finish 5% higher.
Oh, hold on, go ahead, Alderman Robertson.
That chart, go back. So June is the first month, isn't it, that we collected the half a penny more sales tax?
It's not included in this graph, right? Right,
Okay.
Right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
never mind.
Jesse, can you repeat what Tamara said so people can hear that?
Yeah, we collect a month in arrears, so, and we will collect it and we will report it on a different, report it on its own fund, so it won't be included in this local sales tax graph. We'll have another graph that we show it, but we will have a bump as that goes up. Not included here. It shows our general fund operating expenditures year-to-date increasing 0.3%. This will change, so as we accrue expenses back to the year, just so you know, this will change as we finish closing the books. But we started the year and mid-year much higher compared to the last year, so this is good news, but we will see that this increases as we accrue expenses back. This is a new graph where we are tracking license plate readers. So we have these LPR cameras that pick up stolen vehicles when they come into the city, and so we started tracking this last year. So you can see the orange, that's from last year, and then the blue is from this year. So this is the first year where we can compare to last year. So this represents any time our police officers get lights on a stolen vehicle. So these cameras throughout town allow us to get policemen and women behind stolen vehicles. So this is just kind of a neat graphic to show that those LPR cameras really help with our police get stolen vehicles that come through the city. Hopefully, as more word gets out, that this graph continues to go down, but they have a really high success rate with when they have vehicles that get hit on these LPR cameras.
Hey, Jesse, hold on, go ahead, Alderman Collins.
So when I see 3, that means there were a total of 3. That's not like in intervals of 10. It's not really 30
Correct.
or anything. Okay. So I know the question I'm going to be getting tomorrow is what else do we use the LPR cameras for? And I know the answer, but I'd like you to just list 2 or 3 other things that they do.
Yeah, so we don't sit and constantly monitor the LPR cameras. They're primarily used for stolen cars, so when they're registered in a database and the LPR cameras hit them. As far as the specifics for all the other things that PD uses them for, I would defer to the chief on that. I can shoot out an email, but it's not like we sit around and actively look at license plate readers. We don't have the manpower to do that. There's a lot of cars that go through. But when a car is stolen, the license plate is entered into a database. When the cars go through an intersection that has the cameras and it hits that number in the database, it'll alert our police officers, and then they can respond to the intersection where the vehicle's registered.
License plate is associated with somebody who has an active warrant for them.
Yeah, they can go back and search that as well too. So if there's crime in the area, they can use the LPR cameras to try and ping some of the license plates. I think some of the fear has been if police just sit and kind of monitor, but that's not the case. It's just when there's an actual type of data point that they need to get. So it shows that they're very effective, and we'll continue to show this, just kind of a neat metric on the effectiveness of those LPR cameras. I'm going to let Casey talk about the transportation survey results.
Thanks, Jesse. So we mentioned last month that we put this survey out. We ran it for 3 weeks during the month of July. We closed it on July 31st. So Keith will actually include a lot more detail about this in his next big meeting that's on September the 18th, and that's that Capital Projects BOMA workshop where we'll talk more about this in detail. But we wanted to go ahead and just give you guys a quick overview, and I think everybody should have gotten a copy, just a 2-page that just gives the high level. I did want to point out that we had a little over 2,400 respondents. that 85% of them identified that they were living inside Hendersonville city limits. Of the big things that we noted, 93% agreed or strongly agreed that road improvement should be a top budget priority, and 84% agreed or strongly agreed that road maintenance should be a top budget priority. And we did differentiate those a little different in the survey with the question. Of the two big things that they identified were the top things they wanted us to see for improvements, it was reducing congestion and signal synchronization. And this chart, though it's a little bit hard to understand if you don't look at it, it's from a Likert scale. Everything to the left of that white line is things that they disagreed with or is not as important to them, and everything to the right of it means it's important. And so in looking at that, you can see that signal synchronization and reducing congestion were the top two things. But in general, all of it was very important to residents for us to address. So again, Keith will go over this and more. We'll have a little bit more detail on the results. We will plan to post these results online, and I will send all of you guys links so that you can review. We had a lot of handwritten comments. I think over half of the respondents provided some specific feedback, so you guys will have the option to read all of those comments from residents.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. Alderman Bergdorf, do you want to ask something?
Oh, yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, the, online, we do have the paving schedules, correct? And those have been updated and submitted online. They're all updated there now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm actually going to show you that in just a little bit.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, Casey. I want to remind everyone again, with the new trash service, we are trying to be as accountable as possible. So we have daily meetings with Waste Pro, and we go over every reported miss for the day and seek resolution on it. So there's a screenshot on this slide to the far right, and that's a system called Trackies, and that's how we monitor the misses for the day. There's a case number that's assigned to them, if they're closed, if they're active. We didn't show all the notes on this just because it would be very busy, but there's notes that we type in. This was a backdoor customer, it was missed. So we have a very kind of specific format that we go through again on a daily basis, which is a grind of a call to sit and go through every address, but it's important to do to make sure that residents are getting the trash service. There are 3 ways to report this, and the important part is that it does get reported, because if we don't get a call or an email or someone doesn't submit online that they've been missed, then we don't have an accountability feature for that. So please remind folks that the phone number that they can call is listed here. There's an email and there's an online form if they get missed with trash. So we go over these address by address every day. We found some discrepancies that we're cleaning up, but we've seen it trend down, which is a good sign. But just want to remind everyone, we do have a very official logging system for this, and we are going over them daily. So please report them to us so we can make sure that trash gets picked up. And then we wanted to welcome new fire recruits. We have 7 that are starting. So here's a picture of them. So they're going to be going to the academy soon, and I think they wrap up and start on our engines like in November. So good to see those guys, and good to have them as part of the team. And then Casey's also going to talk about the new PIP fund and how we're going to communicate that out.
Okay, so we have this new fund, and we want to make sure residents understand. And so one of the things I did as I was being tasked with how we're going to communicate this out is what are we going to call it, because most people won't know what we're calling PIP internally. So I kind of branded it a little bit Investing Hendersonville, because I feel like that goes right along with the tax referendum and what we called it. So that will be our brand for all of the projects that fall underneath this. Just like everything we do, we want to find multiple ways to communicate out to residents to let them know about this fund and what the fund is doing and how these tax dollars are working for them in this city. So we will have a web page. We'll be doing updates on social media. We'll have monthly reports that Tamara's going to be sharing, and we have a sign. So first, let's have Jason, if you can pull up the website. So this is just a hidden page because it's not live yet. As Tamara mentioned, we're not collecting the funds yet. So some of these numbers are the dummy numbers as far as income that we've collected or that we've used so far. But residents will be able to come to this webpage and they can see the total amount budgeted for the PIP fund and how much has been spent year-to-date as we go along. They can see the total amount of the PIP fund and how it's divided up among the 4 areas of PIP, as well as how those budgets break out and what's being used as they go. And then as you scroll further down the page, each portion of PIP is broken out into their areas, what projects are being covered in that money, and how, again, it's being spent year-to-date. As we get into specifics, it'll show the project, how it's been completed, if it's in progress, coming soon, and the money for it. And as we get to the bottom, we have paving, and I just wanted to use this as a chance to click on the paving link and show you guys. Residents can find the paving page. It's out there. We will put most of the data for paving on the paving page since it's already out there, so both of those budgets are combined, but it does break out which part is for PIP versus which is for the regular operating budget. So at the top of that page, we show what's happening by the week. So when we know what roads are coming, we'll add that so residents can come and see what roads on that list are there. They can download the PDF of the full paving list. Again, you can see it's broken out. We have last year's as well that we're keeping. And then if you scroll down just a little bit more, there's a map. And so it's got, this is all for fiscal year 25, and it's broken into 2 colors. One is the operating budget portion of the paving, and the other is the PIP portion of the paving. Residents can also, Jason, if you'll click on the little hamburger squares, the previous year's data is still in there. So what's really neat is that they can click on that and add it, and you can get a good view of how much of the city, if you'll click on both of those and the next one, has been paved over the last few years. So that's really neat that they can see that data, and we'll just keep adding to it. So again, this page, you can find it from PIP, but you can also find it under services on our website, or you can find it under public works. There's lots of ways for residents to find, and we'll be promoting it as much as we can as we continue with the paving.
Thanks. Alderman Robertson.
You know, it's argued a lot that government should be transparent. I've never seen a report any more transparent, you know, and this is what we promised the citizens if they entrusted us with the half a penny sales tax. And so I know you were instrumental. Is there other staff that we should recognize that helped on this? This is a wonderful website.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. It's transparency with a capital T.
Well, I can thank Tamara for helping me with the finance piece of it and pulling it together. And one thing we did want to show, I mentioned on their signs, so we know not everybody looks on the website and they don't check social media, so we are making signs like the one Jesse's holding that will be strategically placed around town so that in the areas where the PIP funds are being used, that residents will be able to see that and recognize how their tax dollars are being put to work.
Jason, can you get that? Okay.
Feel like Vanna White? Are we gonna?
So those signs will go up in neighborhoods and streets that we pave with PIP funding. Those will be temporary. So we're going to reuse the signs in multiple areas as we go through the city. But like Casey mentioned, not everyone's on social media, not everyone's on the website. So this is just a real rudimentary way to say, hey, you know, this is the impact of that half penny in the neighborhood. So that will go there, and to kind of dovetail onto Alderman Robertson's. The website is a culmination of multiple people in multiple departments at City Hall. It's Public Works, Finance, IT, the maps, all that stuff on there it's multiple people, and Casey putting it together. So we have a really great team who's able to do that. We'll keep it up to date. We'll have the signs out, so we're already starting to do some paving with these PIP funds. So it'll be a good thing. If you guys have questions or there's other things you'd like to see on the website, you know, we're developing it from scratch, but we plan for it to be a platform for at least 10 years. That's how long this is going to go for. So if there's other metrics you'd like to see, just please let us know. And that concludes the report for this evening.
Thank you. Alderman Bergdorf, you have a question?
Just one little statement. I just wanted to go ahead and tell Casey thank you very much for this, because I had drifted across it already and was able to send it out to some of my neighbors to tell them information about the services, the paving and things that we've got. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman Bergdorf. Alderman Robertson, do you have a question?
I ask this question frequently. So, Jesse, do you know the number of vacancies that we have, or maybe the chairman of the public safety, how many vacancies we have in PD and how many vacancies we have in the fire department? Do you know that offhand?
Well, I believe PD is over 10.
Okay.
With fire hiring the new 7 on, I think they're not using those 7 yet because they have to go through the academy, but I think that if it doesn't fulfill, it's close to fulfilling, but I believe PD is still at about 10 or so below numbers. I will get an official number tomorrow and email it out to everyone, but off the top of my head, that's what I think.
Thank you, Alderman Robertson. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Casey. Alderman Dixon.
Motion to
We
adjourn,
have a
Mayor.
motion to adjourn. And we have a second from Alderman Garden. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you all.